Namaste and a very good noon to each one of you. On behalf of DSPSR family, I welcome all of you to the next in series alumni talk by our alumnus, Mr. Abhishek Gupta, who is an MBA from 2004-6 batch from DSPSR. Today, we are very proud to welcome you here, sir. Before we begin, but first I would like to introduce you, sir. Mr. Abhishek Gupta has a prolific work experience, and in a very short span of time, he has reached great heights in his professional life. And for that, we at DSPSR family are extremely proud of him. So first, Mr. Abhishek Gupta currently is working in Axis Bank as Assistant Vice President, and he is having 14 years of rich experience in trade finance in the banking sector. He possesses various globally recognized certifications in banking, including a Certified Documentary Credit Specialist, CDCS, Certificate in International Trade Finance, CITF, Certificate Course in Foreign Exchange, and Certified Associate of the Indian Institute of Bankers, CAIIB. He has worked in many prestigious banks like HSBC Bank, Citibank, and Yes Bank before joining Axis Bank. He is keen on the implementation of various digitalization and automation initiatives in trade finance and in learning upcoming technologies like blockchain and artificial intelligence. He has participated in various national and international conferences in the past and as a speaker and panelist in the prestigious IIM Lucknow, IIFT and Banking Reform Conclave and many other such prestigious conferences and institutes. He has authored numerous articles on blockchain and trade finance, which have got published in world-renowned journals. So we welcome you today, sir. Today, Mr. Abhishek Gupta will be enlightening us with his talk on a very relevant topic for present times. That is future of work post-COVID-19. Are we ready? I'm sure this question must be in many people's minds. What will be the future of work post-COVID-19? So we really have to be ready and mentally and physically prepared for it. So it's a very relevant topic. And I'm sure the students, faculty, staff, and other guests will benefit a lot from his words of wisdom today. So we are really honored to welcome you today, sir. And I request you to kindly take the stage and start your presentation. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Seema ma'am, for giving me an opportunity to express my views. Thank you, Ajay Kumar sir and Popli sir, for showing me confidence in me to address the esteemed audience. I would be just sharing my slide. So, as we very well know, that the COVID has changed the whole work scenario a lot. We have been working in an environment wherein we used to interact with people easily, but nowadays COVID-19 has led us to have a social distancing norms, and because of that, most of the industries have got struck. They are in transition phase. So let's discuss about what would be the change in the working style and the way we are working. We have seen a widespread disruption across the globe. In March, the lockdown was introduced, was done, and with that, most of the industries in India and across the globe, they came to a standstill, and it has changed the way we have been working. The focus is more on the continuity part, because we cannot think of productivity as of now in the current scenario, but now the main problem is to have a continuity. So that has really led to a big issue across the globe. And the day by day, this COVID-19 cases are increasing day by day. Around 28.6 million globally people have got affected, and more than 9 lakh people across the globe has died. It has really impacted each and every industry, each and every individual. Nobody is left unaffected. There have been various instances in the past, like World War or other such like global financial crisis, but there has never been such a scenario when all the industries, all the people are so badly affected. So we can expect GDP to be on the negative side. Globally, the world, the economies are shrinking, they are contracting. So in this scenario, the work is also getting equally affected. And the way we have been working will get changed. It is changing. You are experiencing it. We were not prepared for it. So it was totally unprecedented situation. We are entered into a unprecedented territory. So if we see, most of the industries have been badly affected. If we say the travel, tourism, hospitality, they are severely affected by this COVID-19 crisis. Similarly, real estate and infrastructure. So I have given a brief diagram how much duration these industries will get back to its normal. Some may take 1 year, some may take 2 years, but we are not sure what will happen. But at least what we can do is we have to prepare ourselves for the future, because the things will continue like this in the coming few months or few years. But are we ready? Are we ready to cope with this challenge, or are we just trying to pass the time? It's a golden time for us to upgrade ourselves, to upskill ourselves, to reskill ourselves. And if we are able to reskill ourselves, if we are able to prepare for ourselves for the future, we will be a bit ahead from others, and we would be able to survive, because it is very well known of Darwin's story, Darwin's theory, that survival of the fittest. So if we are able to survive, we are able to revive ourselves, if we are able to change the way we have been working, we will be able to adapt ourselves very easily. We have to become more agile. We have to become resilient to these changes which are taking place. If we see the impact of COVID on work, there has been large unemployment. If you see, most of the various industries, they have laid off some of the employees. They have reduced the salaries, and people has been kept on hold, and they are not being paid for few months or few duration, or they have been paid half salary. So in this scenario, what would be the scenario in the future? We would be discussing about that. We have seen that there have been a lot of travel restrictions has been there. And because of that, we are not able to go to various places. We are not able to go to various malls, cinema halls, and to other shopping centers. The reason is that consumption is going down. The consumption is going down. The demand is going down. And as a result, there is a huge issue, huge problem across all the industries. See, if you can see, most of the offices you will find they are empty, or they are having a gathering, or they are having a strength of 50%, 20% staffings. So most of the people are working from home, and this has become the new normal. Like, as per the industry estimates, around 10.8 million jobs has been lost since the lockdown. So you can understand, and that in different sectors. It can be in informal sector, formal sector. In this way, as per the industry estimates, so much jobs has been lost. So are we prepared for that, and what should we do from now on? And those who has been affected in that industry, what should we do? We have to think about it. It's a lifelong, it's a long journey. So there could be it could be a blip also, weariness for say 1 year, or there could be some instances, or there could be a long-term impact as well. So we have to realign our strategy to move ahead. At times, we may not be able to follow the same path we have been following. We need to take a U-turn. We need to change ourselves a bit, so that we are able to cope with the future challenges. If we see the job losses which have taken place in India, I'm referring to India itself, in travel and tourism, 55 lakhs jobs has been lost. Similarly, for hospitality, 38 lakhs. In total, if you say more than 1 crore, 10 million jobs has got lost. So it gives us an indication that what we need to do. We need to be ready for it. We need to try to upskill ourselves, reskill ourselves, and try to find a way out wherein we can continue our work. Now the role comes of innovation and innovative thinking. You have to think out of the box. Then only we'll be able to cope up with this challenge. Nowadays, we have started working from home, and various employees, organizations, society, we are forced to work from home. So we are working on a work from home experiment. In various instances, you will find in various industries, it is working, and in some industries, it is not working. So it is also varying from place to place, person to person. So if you are dedicated, if you have the dedication in you, if you have the integrity, and if you really want to work, there is an ample opportunity for you to grow, to learn, and to contribute to your organization. And if you don't want to work, then even if you are working from home, you may not be able to put your level best. So in nowadays of work from home, you'll find that there are various challenges which we are facing. Though there are some benefits as well, but there are challenges also which are there and which needs to be taken care of. Even the organizations, the institutes, even say education institutes, they are aware that what are the challenges. So we would be discussing some of the challenges which are there, some of the benefits which are there, and how we can go ahead with that. So let's see whether this work from home concept is really working or not. You'll be having a mixed answer. So some would say that it is working, some would say it is not working, because if from the employee point of view, if you'll see, we have a flexible working hours, we can have a work-life balance. But if we think from the employer's point of view, are we able to contribute our level best? Are you able to provide the optimum productivity which is required? Because if we work with a half productivity, we will not be able to grow. We will not be able to sustain, I must say. So we need to understand the benefits of the work from home and take this as an advantage to unleash our potential. Then actually this work from home concept would be actually can be put in use. Otherwise, what actually is happening is, say if I give an example of Axis Bank, 30 to 40% would be working from home. They're still working from home, and they would be working from home even after the COVID crisis get over. Similarly, various organizations like TCS, they have given a commitment that by 2025, 25% workforce would be working from home, and the remaining 25% would be working from office, and the remaining 75% would be working from home. Similarly, there are various benefits that we would be discussing, like it gives a greater autonomy to the employee. They can work in their own fashion. And similarly, we can have a flexible working hours. We can have a work-life balance, and the employees can save both time and money on commuting. See, we are wasting so much of time on traveling. So if we can save that time, if we can reduce that time in commuting in a productive way, so it will be a great thing. We can contribute that time in spending time with our family, or learning new things, learning new skills. So in this way, it would be really helpful. And if we think from the employer point of view, it is saving the cost for the employees, because having an employee in the office, it requires a cost to the company. For office space, we need to have a rent. So rental costs are reducing. The office space is shrinking. So we may not require huge offices. We can have a setup wherein the few employees would be working from home and few employees would be working from office. Similarly, the business travel, we have been so much into business travel, those will go down. And apart from that, we'll see there have been instances where the the women, they were not able to join the office because of family commitments. And if this facility of work from home continues, they can contribute to the in a productive manner to the organization, and they can rejoin the office, and they can have a flexible working hours. They can manage the home and as well as the office. So this would be really the benefit which we can foresee, and which we are actually happening. Now let's see what are the challenges which are there. The challenge is like we are focusing mostly on the, we are working on through various Zoom applications, or through mobile, through internet, and through mails. But there is that personal touch is missing. There is not much, we are not able to give our best for the collaboration part. So generally for collaborating or for having a face, we need to have a face-to-face interaction. That is missing, that human touch is missing. So the control which is there from the organization, from the employer, that is missing. Even we sometimes become lethargy because there is no set schedule and set guidelines for us to work. So we at times become lethargic. We may not be able to contribute to our level best. So at times we feel that since we have family, we are not able to get a separate room. We are not able to get dedicated space for work. So that sometimes is a challenge for working from home. And if we think from the employer point of view, it is becoming very difficult for the employers to manage the team remotely. Though we have various means of through WhatsApp chat, or through say Zoom chat, or we have Teams, Microsoft Teams, so many softwares are being used, but still that control is missing, because the main challenge is that productivity is getting hampered. At times it is really debatable whether productivity is increasing or it is decreasing, because at times we have seen that since we are not wasting our time on commuting, since we are not getting too much bothered by some other external disturbances, we can work dedicated to our work. So in some cases the productivity is increasing, and in some cases productivity is going down. So the organizations are working with 50% productivity or 60% productivity. Similarly, suppose we want to onboard a new employees. In that case also, the new employee may not be able to adjust to the new environment, because it requires mentorship, it requires coaching, it requires direction for the new employees to work. So that is missing. So suppose a new employee is working, they are working from home. The home has become office. So it is, new term is called home office. So these are the things which are taking place, and these are some of the challenges. But let's see, we are able to overcome these challenges, because we have no other option. We have to make the best use of this environment wherein we are working partially from home or partially from office. Suppose there are some roles which are critical. Suppose some roles are having face-to-face interaction with a client. In that case, there needs to be somebody at the office to deal with the clients. And suppose some back-end work, they can be done from home. So in this way, the organizations has to decide whether which type of role, which type of division should work from home, and which role can be done from the office. Similarly, the new norm would be like some of the employees would be working 3 days a week from office, or 2 days a week. So in this way, the scenario would be like one of the organization, what they have done is, just like booking an Ola and Uber, you would be booking a seat for your office. So whenever you want to go to your office space is say limited, and you want to join the office, you have to book your seat at the office. And in this way, you would be able to access the facilities of the organization. So this will help the organization to cut the cost, to cut the administrative cost, to the rental cost. And this is really, I would say, the experiment of work from home is working. Again, it is debatable. People would say it is not working, but we have to live with it. We have to see that what best can be done to maintain that productivity and to achieve those individual and personal goals. Now, some of the tips, if I would say that organizations need to give a clear instruction about what needs to be done. There should be set deadlines, set expectations, and the accountability needs to be set. Like the system should be that the output needs to be given by so and so time, so and so date, and everything is left to the employee to work in their own fashion. If they want to work, say, 6 hours, 5 hours, or 10 hours, or how much productive they want to be, it can be left up to them. So in this way, the organizations would be able to continue with this work from home. Otherwise, if work from home continues and the deadlines are not being met and there is accountability is not being set, this will not last for long. So this is for the benefit of us, the employees and the employers, to continue with this thing and to keep on reviewing this thing. We have been working I have been in bank, so we have been working throughout this lockdown period, being an essential services. So it is really challenging because we have been seeing instances where the branches are getting infected, and that branch has to be kept closed for say 7 days or 10 days to again restart, because it is really challenging that we have to continue with your the job as well, and you need to work also. A balance is to be maintained between how we are working. So health needs to be taken care. It is always utmost important. Even the organizations across the globe, they are working on it. They are really providing various solutions for the employees to work so that they can give their best and they can be safe, right? Similarly, if we are working from home, we need to find a separate quiet place for working. It should be free from distractions. There should be sufficient technological support. If all these technological tools are there, we would be continue with that thing. One important thing which I think is there should be self-discipline. We should be able to start our work say at 9:30 or 10, just like in the office, and we should continue to work say at 5 or 6 without much distraction, because you may find number of instances where you can engage yourself in WhatsApp or say LinkedIn or say other social handles, but you have to keep a discipline. You have to maintain a discipline so that we are able to contribute to the best to the organization. If we are studying, we need to put our level best to study for our exams for the future. So that self-control, self-motivation needs to be there. Without that, you will not be able to get the best out of it. It is just like a blessing in disguise. We have never seen this thing that people are forced in such an environment. Really good outcome as well, because in many cases we have seen that the results are increasing. The results is even good results. Similarly, this culture of trust needs to be developed between the employer and the employee. Because without trust, because suppose if I'm having a control of our employee, so I need to have a trust that he will be working at its best. So the challenge which organizations are facing is that whether the employee is performing or not, whether the employee is performing at its best optimum level or not. So that is the biggest challenge for the employers and for the organizations. So that kind of trust needs to be developed, that the organization should trust the employee and the employee should trust the organization, that both will take care of their each other interests. So if we move ahead, we can see that are we really ready for what is happening, and were we ready? But even if we were not ready, we were able to continue, we were able to sustain. But as we can see, this COVID crisis is not yet over. It would take another, say, 1 year or so, or it may take 2 years to revive back to the normals. So are we ready for it? Personally, professionally, as a student, as an employee, as an employer, what are our future plans? What should be our strategy? We need to think about it. If we are studying, if we are pursuing our graduation, post-graduation, are we prepared for the future? do we have that adequate skills which are required for the future, or are we just studying for the sake of studying? Because you need to keep ourselves ready for the future, and without that preparedness, we would get trapped into that of unemployment and other issues and other, because the survival of the fittest would be the biggest thing in the future. If we see the future trends, like we are now entering into the industry 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution, and that would be driven by the technology. The technologies are artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, Internet of Things, and cloud computing. And these technologies have changed the way we have been working. Across the globe, across the industries, these technologies are changing the way we have been working. If suppose you want to purchase something, you go to Amazon, the Amazon will give you the recommendation based on your past experiences, based on your past searches. So what is this? They are using the AI. Similarly, suppose I want to transfer say 10,000 from say Yes Bank to some other bank. They have a chatbot. Through chatbot, I'll just enter my credentials and I will be able to book an FD. So I don't need employees. So the thing is, at times we feel that these digital technologies and these new upcoming technologies may replace human, but this may not, because these go both hand in hand. A new kind of economy is coming up, that is gig economy. So what is a gig economy? It is a free market system in which temporary positions are common and organizations hire independent workers. So you will find the people are working independently. They may not be of full-time jobs. They may not be permanent jobs. It would be project-based. They would be hiring consultants. Similarly, various banks are having an opportunity for gig opportunities for consultants. Suppose those who want to work from home for say 5 hours, or project-based jobs are available. So these are the new norm, and we have to live with the new normal. So we have to be prepared. Whatever skills which we have learned, say 10 years from now, 10 years from earlier, and whatever knowledge which we have gained from the last say 4 or 5 years, that may not be useful in the coming future. So there is a life cycle. The 3 years from now may become obsolete now. The knowledge which we have learned say 3 years or 4 years may not be useful now. So we have to keep on learning. We have to keep on gaining that knowledge. We have to keep on reskilling ourselves so that we keep aligned to what is the expectation of the industry. And that is not only applicable for the freshers, I would say. That is applicable even for those who are working. Learning new skills, new technologies. Now data is new oil. We need to we can have some learning on say big data, some cyber security, or say Internet of Things. Though they may not be able to help you in the current job, but you need to keep on adding those skills and knowledge. As I have discussed earlier, the more and more jobs would be project based. We will be hiring external staff from overseas, and that would require a strong networking social skills. So this will totally change the way we have been working. We have to work hand in hand with the machines. Whatever that we have been doing in the past, that can be the things which are repetitive in nature, those things which are does not require high skills, can be done through softwares, through AI, and through various such new upcoming technologies. So if we can do all those things through the upcoming technologies, there would be a lesser requirement for the staffing in the future. So in that case, there is an utmost need to learn, to have the critical thinking. We need to learn those things which cannot be done by computers or by systems or by machines. As per World Economic Forum, by 2022, 58% tasks would be performed by humans and 42% would be done by machines. And this has been doing. You can see, see an example of big technology firms GAFA it is called, Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, they are not employing much employees. They are, through their strong technology network, strong system network, they are able to control, manage the whole resources and their work. Take an example of Ola, Uber, how they have been doing in the past. They have such a strong system in place, such a strong mechanism where they can control the even what the drivers are doing, how the employees are working in this fashion. So I will not say that human capabilities will not be replaced by AI. So human capabilities has its own relevance, but the new upcoming technologies will go hand in hand. So they will complement each other. They will augment the human capabilities. That would be human enabled machines, enabled by machines. So there would be a shift we can see from wage employment to self-employment. There may not be a scenario where you can have a long-lasting permanent jobs. There could be contractual jobs, and the jobs which require specialized knowledge would be in need. It could be computing, mathematics, architecture, engineering, or anything which has a specialized knowledge. A thing which can be done by machine can easily be done by machine. So what extra you are giving, what additional skills you have, which you can contribute to the organization, that is the most important thing. So suppose if you are having a single skill set, those kind of jobs will decline, right? Whatever knowledge and skill which we have gained in the past may become obsolete in the future. We have to be prepared for that, and we have to keep on upskilling ourselves. So we must take the best use of this current scenario, wherein we have a flexibility, we have the choice of work from anywhere. From work from home, it has got changed from work from anywhere. So this has a very long lasting impact, because we have been seeing there has been an urbanization. People are moving from tier 3 cities to tier 2 cities to tier 1 cities. In this way, this movement of employees for work may get reduced. So you can work from anywhere. Even if you are working from beach, and if you are contributing to your organization at your best, you can continue. The organizations just want the outcome, and the productivity should be there. So this would be the new normal. This is what we foresee in the future. The skills that would be required post-COVID world would be that we have to be agile. We should be able to adapt ourselves to the coming new circumstances. In the organizations, wherever you are working, new softwares are coming, new technology is coming. And if we are not able to change ourselves to the changing environment, we will soon become obsolete, and we will soon become redundant, which we should never be. So we need to be flexible. We should need to be a continuous learner. We should commit for a lifetime learning. If you see the big shots across the globe, I can give an example of Warren Buffett, Bill Gates. They are avid reader. They spend a lot of time on reading and gaining knowledge, because a person who gains knowledge also gains in terms of financial wealth as well. So knowledge is the wealth. The more you will gain, the more you will succeed. Nowadays, the environment has been so conducive to learn, which has never been so before. You can learn from big universities. You can do crash courses. You can learn from YouTube. There are so many opportunities are there. Just take one area where you want to exceed, and keep on studying for that for 1 month. And within 1 month or 2 months, you would become an expert in that area. And this I have seen in my instance also. I have been studying on technology for the last 4 years. And because of that, I have got an opportunity to speak at such a big forums, which I have never thought of. I've been called from IIM Lucknow, I've been called from IFT, and from various big conferences and seminars in India. Just because of that, gaining that knowledge. I have read, I've studied a lot, and that is the only reason I'm able to differentiate myself from others. And this we all can do. We have to become data literate. we have to become technological literate. We have to think from in such a way that we have that skills to become more creative, more innovative. You have to think of a solution, think of a problem, whatever that is happening, and provide a solution to that. You all can become an entrepreneur, and that would be the future. For that, you need to have that innovative skills. We had that skill for innovation, creativity, critical thinking, thinking out of the box. If we are just following what people are doing, we will just reach where people have reached. If you want to be ahead, if you want to contribute in a different way, you have to think out of the box. You need to develop an emotional intelligence, develop the leadership skills, we have to become tech savvy so that we are ready for the future. So in this way, we have understood is that if we are prepared for the future, we can contribute to our level best. So, and discussion from here, I would like to end my discussion. I just want to thank the DSPSR and the teachers who have given me an opportunity to share my ideas, share my thoughts on this thing. And one good thing is that we all are working hard, and we will commit to work hard, and we will continue to upskill ourselves. We need to take a commitment from here that we need to give the best to the organization where we are working, and we need to be prepare ourselves for the future. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Sir, I would request you to kindly share your experience.